Joining me now is Jordan Trimble, President and CEO at Skyharbour Resources. Great to see you again.
Great to be here as well.
Now, we love updating the Skyharbour Resources story, advancing it. So you're in the midst of your largest drilling program ever, 10,000 meters at Russell Lake. And we were just talking earlier that you're getting kind of excited about what you're finding.
Yeah, so as we've talked about in previous interviews, Russell Lake, a deal that we struck with Rio Tinto last year, took a while to get it done. We got the permits, we got the social license, we have an exploration agreement with the English River First Nation, and we've just started this 10,000 meter program, the largest individual drill program that we've carried out as a company. We're very pleased with what we're seeing thus far. We're going to be wrapping up the first phase. We're going to be carrying on with the drilling right through into May. And as we've talked about, this is an advanced stage exploration asset. It's been sporadically drilled across a very large area, but there's a lot of room in between previous drill fences. This is the first kind of few target areas that we're drill testing, is more systematic and tightening up the spacings on these drill collars and these drill holes, and it has the potential to host very high-grade uranium mineralization. If you look at where it's located, strategically between McArthur River Mine and the Key Lake Mill, Denison's Phoenix deposit and Griffin deposit is just a few kilometers to the west, and then our other co-flagship project, Moore Lake, is just to the east.
Right, let's get to Moore Lake. You continue to drill there. Is the plan primarily to drill and look around the basement rocks where you've already discovered new mineralized zones? Going
forward it is, yeah. and as we've talked about now with Russell Lake in the portfolio, we can stage out of the camp at Russell Lake. It's road accessible, so that'll bring our drill costs down at both Russell and Moore Lake. Plan is to do a little bit more drilling at Moore Lake this year in conjunction with the larger drill programs that we're carrying out at Russell. So keep an eye out for additional news flow on drilling. And yes, most of that drilling will be focused on these underlying basement rocks where we've just started finding higher grade mineralization at what's called the Maverick Corridor at Moore Lake.
And then you've got your prospect generator model. You've got a number of partnerships, option agreements, JVs, and so on. So you say they're going to be drilling off and on for 12 to 18 months or so. Of those 7 partners, which excites you the most? It's like your kids, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to answer that way, but
Tough question to answer. But no, look, in summary, we have 7 partner companies now. We've signed option agreements that total almost $35 million in partner-funded exploration and just under $15 million in potential cash payments coming into Skyharbour, and well over $20 million in share issuances, again, potentially coming in, assuming that all these companies earn in at their respective option. We've got 2 JV partners, one in Orano and one in Azincourt. You ask me what excites me. Azincourt has just started a multi-thousand meter drill program. They're just working their way through that. Some news that came out just in the last few days on some developments on that program. So they're, I think, really onto something there at the East Preston project. And then we have our 5 active earn-in option partners. And so of those companies, we're expecting programs later this year from Basin Uranium Corp at Man Lake, from Tisdale Clean Energy, which was the largest option deal we've signed. They have a $10.5 million expenditure, exploration expenditure as a part of the earn-in there in cash and stock. That's at our South Falcon East project. So we're expecting a fairly large program from them at some point later this year and going into the new year. Madero Mining at our Yurchison project, we're also expecting a program there. And then we signed a deal with a company called Yellow Rocks at 2 other projects. They're going to be looking at some more exploratory work, geophysics and reconnaissance work at our Usem and Wally project. So lots going on and lots to augment the news flow from our drill programs at Russell and Moore.
And there are those irons in the fire you've talked about before, right?
Absolutely.
So let's go macro here. Lastly, Jordan, we know the world has woken up to this green energy, green power shift. This uranium cycle seems different. So how sustainable is it? Is this like multi-year? And where does Skyharbour fit in there, do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question. I do believe this will be sustainable. I think we're still very much in the early innings of this bull market. We've talked about some of the driving forces and the tailwinds, but look, nuclear energy is going to have to play an integral role in the electrification we're seeing happening globally, in decarbonization objectives, lofty decarbonization decarbonization objectives. And now with the geopolitical turmoil we're seeing globally, we're seeing various markets, including uranium and the nuclear industry, bifurcate east and west. And there's been a lot of new supply that's come on in places like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and not a lot of new supply that's come on in places like Canada, the US, and Australia. And so we're going to have to see, there's a major supply-demand imbalance in the West. Western utilities are going to have to be more reliant on Western suppliers, and that's where companies like Skyharbour and other junior companies, developers and producers stand to benefit. So I think this will be a sustained bull market. I think, again, at $50 a pound, there's a lot of runway. There's a lot of tailwinds right now. We're seeing the contract market in particular really pick up big volumes, and that's usually a good precursor for a rising price. We've seen the price of the enrichment, of the conversion, various intermediate products in the nuclear fuel cycle have big moves in the last 6 or 8 months, and I think the yellow cake, the U308 price, is going to have a breakout year this year in 2023.
A lot of great information there, macro and micro, and specifically with your company. Thanks a lot, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
Great to catch up. Jordan Trimble, President, CEO, Skyharbour Resources.